was born in Idaho Falls, Idaho, in the hospital there. I was born a year after my parents had lost a little girl that died right after she was born. So I always feel like somewhere up in heaven they kind of got together and sent this little couple down there another little girl to love. My dad worked for the sugar factory from the time he was 14 years old. This was in Sugar City, Idaho. They'd go out tending the sheep, whatever they had to do, and my mom said she'd walk along behind him crocheting while they went out. I have a brother, Gary, who was 7 years older than I am. And then I always figured the war came along, and that's when my two younger brothers came along. Brent was born in 42. Wally was born 16 months later. So they were like twins, those two. My dad got the boxing gloves out every night and put the boxing gloves on those two little boys and made them box every night. Every day in school, it was during the Second World War had started, and the kids in my class wanted me to sing the White Cliffs of Dover. There'll be bluebirds over this White Cliffs of Dover that was so famous back there during the war. Yeah, oh, my mom sent to Salt Lake City and got this blue satin dress for me, and it had a hat with a big brim on it like this to sing these songs. And we went to Idaho Falls. My parents were so poor, I don't know how they rented that dress.
We met at a picnic and saw this gal sitting in with a bunch of people, and I sent my brother up. I says, go ask that girl over there, she wants to go for a canoe ride. And I don't know what he said to her, but she showed up anyway. And anyway, we got married in her aunt's living room. We drove through Preston, Idaho. We went down there in that old 41 Pontiac, and we're going through the middle of town about 30 miles an hour, and here these kids are throwing snowballs at us and pointing at us. And it turns out they were trying to get our attention that our car was on fire. When they checked the oil, they'd left a rag laying in there on the motor.
With him gone all the time, going to school and working and everything, and I'd sit up there till he got home and doing genealogy, and I would write all these letters to all these people down south. But I would know when there was a letter out in the mailbox out there at the end of the driveway. I'd go out there and there'd be a letter. I had real good success getting hold of old relatives, and well, the results are in the books there at home, about 50. Always sang in the church choirs and different programs. I was with Mary one year.
Up there they had what they call the Singing Mothers group, and they went down and sang in the tabernacle.
Oh, in Salt Lake, yeah.
Somewhere along the line she got involved with the Tacoma Opera Society, and she
about that.
She was in 3 or 4. She was in the Kismet and Vagabond King and Student Prince and different musicals that they put on.
That's all right for you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you do it, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right, Mama. Any way you do. Well, Mama, she done told me, Papa done told me too. Son, that gal you foolin' with, she ain't no good for you, but that's all right. That's all right. That's all right, Mama, any way you do. I'm leaving all right. That's all right. That's all right now, Mama. Any way you do. Ah, da da dee 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 dee. I need your loving. That's all right. That's all right now, Mama. Any way you do.
The dream dreams that you dare to. Why, oh why can't I?